Welcome to the Echoes of Ihsan Podcast. Today we're going to do a deep dive into Pearls of the Heart.
A collection of sermons by the 12th century Islamic scholar and Sufi mystic, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani.
It really is such a treasure trove of spiritual guidance, offering insights into navigating those complexities of life.
And drawing closer to Allah, absolutely.
One thing that struck me was how he starts off by really emphasizing self-improvement before even thinking about guiding others.
Absolutely. That's a theme that we find throughout his works, this idea that you can't really truly help others until you've addressed your own shortcomings.
It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. And Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani takes it a step further. It's not just like work on yourself. He gives this really, really vivid analogy.
Oh, yeah.
He says you need to be a strong swimmer before you can even think about rescuing someone drowning in the sea of sin.
Wow, that's powerful. It really drives home that point that we need to have that solid foundation ourselves before we can really offer support to others.
Absolutely. And he doesn't stop there. He unpacks the dangers of hypocrisy, or kind of putting on this facade of piety while harboring inner turmoil.
He has this one line really impactful. He says, if the affirmation of divine oneness, tawhid, is displayed at the door of the house, while polytheism or shirk lurks inside, this is hypocrisy in fact. It's very self.
It's a stark reminder that true faith is not about outward appearances, but it's about aligning our inner and our outer worlds.
So it's not enough to just say we believe in Allah, but our hearts need to be fully committed to his path.
Precisely. And that alignment requires constant vigilance. It requires a conscious effort to purify our hearts from anything that might compete with our love for Allah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now that brings us to another crucial theme that he explores.
Yeah.
The importance of patience and contentment.
Yes, absolutely. He places so much value on patiently accepting the ups and downs of life, recognizing that they're all part of Allah's plan.
He uses this beautiful analogy of being a guest in Allah's house.
Yes.
Right. We wouldn't complain or argue with our host even if things weren't to our liking.
We would accept their hospitality with gratitude, knowing that they're providing for us to the best of their ability.
And that's how we should approach our relationship with Allah. Accepting his decree with patience and contentment, recognizing that he knows what's best for us even when we don't understand it.
Exactly. And he even cautions us against complaining to others about our problems. He says we should take our complaints directly to Allah.
That's interesting.
The one who has the power to help us.
Right. It's a reminder that our ultimate reliance should be on Allah and not on the whims of other people.
Absolutely. And that even in those moments of difficulty, we should turn to him with trust and hope, knowing that he's always there for us.
This makes me think about something else he mentions, the importance of private retreat, or khalwa.
Yes, khalwa is a practice that's deeply rooted in the Sufi tradition, a time for spiritual purification and deepening that connection with Allah.
Now, when we talk about retreat, it's not necessarily about physical isolation, right?
That's right. It can also be a state of mind, a conscious effort to withdraw from those distractions of the world and to focus on our inner state.
So it's kind of like creating this mental and spiritual sanctuary.
Yes.
A space where we can connect with Allah without all the noise and the demands of daily life.
Exactly. He even compares it to the period of seclusion that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, went through before receiving revelation.
It's a powerful parallel, highlighting how essential it is to step back from the world in order to receive that divine guidance.
Right. It's a time for deep contemplation, for self-examination, and for strengthening our resolve to live in accordance with Allah's will.
But he also acknowledges the potential challenges that can come up during khalwa, right?
Yes, he warns against becoming lost in those thoughts and illusions or letting our guard down and allowing those distractions to creep in.
So even in solitude, we need to be vigilant.
Absolutely.
Focused on our spiritual goals and guarding our hearts against those subtle whispers that can lead us astray.
He also emphasizes that engaging in good deeds and fulfilling our obligations to others is even more important than just simply isolating ourselves in worship.
Right, that makes sense. It's a reminder that our faith shouldn't just be this inward-facing pursuit, but it should manifest in our actions, in how we treat others and contribute to the well-being of society.
Right. He sees this as a key aspect of true ihsan, of striving for excellence in all that we do, both in our relationship with Allah and in our interactions with with his creation.
Speaking of Ihsan, he also provides some really insightful guidance on how to interact with others.
Yes. He places a great emphasis on treating people well, showing compassion, and fostering harmonious relationships.
He even goes so far as to say that maintaining good relationships with people is a form of charity.
It's a beautiful way of looking at it,
Yeah.
highlighting how our interactions with others can be a source of blessing and reward, both for ourselves and for them.
Absolutely. But he also acknowledges that not all relationships are beneficial,
Right.
and he advises us to be mindful of those who might lead us astray from Allah's path.
Right, because our companions can have such a profound influence on our thoughts and our actions and our spiritual state. So it's so essential to surround ourselves with those who inspire us to draw closer to Allah.
He encourages us to seek out the company of the righteous, those who embody the values that we aspire to cultivate within ourselves,
Yes.
those who remind us of Allah and support us on our journey towards Him.
And he warns against befriending those who might lead us astray.
Right.
Those whose influence could damage our hearts and hinder our progress.
And this leads us to another important aspect of his teachings, his advice on how to deal with challenging situations, particularly when we've been wronged by someone.
He urges us to respond with patience and forgiveness, to resist that urge to retaliate, and to leave matters in Allah's hands.
He reminds us that vengeance ultimately belongs to Allah, and that our focus should be on maintaining our own inner peace and striving for reconciliation.
He even encourages us to pray for those who wrong us, to ask Allah to guide them to the straight path.
It's a reminder that even those who hurt us are still deserving of our compassion, and that our ultimate goal should be their guidance and well-being.
He emphasizes that true strength lies not in dominating others, but in conquering our own lower selves.
So it's about resisting the urge to give in to anger, jealousy, greed,
Yes.
and choosing instead to act with patience, forgiveness, and generosity.
Right. He sees this inner struggle as the most important battle that we'll ever fight, and encourages us to seek Allah's help in overcoming our weaknesses and cultivating those qualities that will draw us closer to Him.
I think it's so fascinating how he connects this inner work to the concept of lawful sustenance. He repeatedly emphasizes the need to purify our hearts by consuming only what is halal, what is permissible according to Islamic law.
Right. He sees this as a fundamental aspect of purifying the heart, recognizing that what we put into our bodies affects not only our physical well-being, but also our spiritual state.
He warns against consuming unlawful food, saying that even if it goes unnoticed by others, it doesn't go unnoticed by Allah.
Right. It's a powerful reminder that our actions have consequences, both seen and unseen, and that our inner state is just as important as our outward actions.
And he provides some really intriguing insights into the nature of sainthood, describing saints as those who are completely absorbed in their communion with Allah,
Yeah.
to the point where they become oblivious to those distractions of the world.
He uses this metaphor of them being deaf and blind to anything other than Allah,
Right.
highlighting that depth of their focus and devotion.
That's powerful.
And he highlights the importance of their role as guides and teachers, saying that they are the heirs of the prophets, those who carry the torch of spiritual knowledge and guidance, helping others find their way to Allah.
Now, that makes me think about, his advice on how to approach learning from those who are more knowledgeable than us.
He stresses the importance of humility and respect, urging us to listen attentively and to avoid arguing with those who have attained those higher levels of spiritual understanding.
So it's about recognizing that true learning requires an open mind and a willingness to submit to those who have more wisdom than us.
He also advises us to seek out the company of the righteous,
Right.
to attend their gatherings and to benefit from their presence.
He sees this as a way to purify our hearts
Absolutely.
and strengthen our commitment to Allah.
Surrounding ourselves with those who embody the qualities we aspire to cultivate within ourselves.
Right. Now that brings us back to his thoughts on the importance of choosing our companions wisely. He strongly advises against befriending those who lead us astray from Allah's path.
He says that such friendships can corrupt our hearts and turn us away from the truth.
He urges us to seek out the company of those who are sincere in their faith, who uphold the values of Islam and who inspire us to draw closer to Allah.
Because true friends are those who support us on our spiritual journey, not those who hinder our progress.
And he also emphasizes the importance of maintaining good relationships with our fellow Muslims.
He encourages us to treat them with kindness, with compassion, and with generosity,
Mhm.
to overlook their faults and focus on their virtues.
He sees this as a fundamental aspect of living a life pleasing to Allah, a life that embodies the spirit of Islam.
It's about recognizing that our relationships with others are a reflection of our relationship with Allah, and that treating others well is a form of worship in itself.
This brings us to his advice on how to deal with those who wrong us.
He urges us to be patient and forgiving, to resist that urge to retaliate, and to leave matters in Allah's hands.
He reminds us that Allah is the ultimate judge,
Yeah.
and that vengeance belongs to him.
He also encourages us to pray for those who wrong us, to ask Allah to guide them to the straight path.
It's about recognizing that even those who hurt us are still deserving of our compassion, and that our ultimate goal should be their guidance and well-being.
And he also stresses the importance of controlling our tongues, of speaking with good intention and avoiding harmful speech.
He warns against backbiting, gossiping, and spreading rumors, emphasizing that such actions can damage our hearts and our relationships with others.
He reminds us that our words have power and that we should use them to build others up, not tear them down.
You know, as we're delving into Pearls of the Heart, it strikes me how Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani manages to present such a holistic vision of what it means to live a life pleasing to Allah.
Absolutely. It's not just about those rituals or beliefs. It's about cultivating a state of being, a way of interacting with the world that stems from a heart that is purified and aligned with the divine.
He emphasizes the interconnectedness of our inner and outer worlds, of our thoughts, our actions, and our relationships.
He shows us how each aspect of our lives can be a means of drawing closer to Allah, of refining our character, and of contributing to the well-being of ourselves and others.
He doesn't shy away from addressing the challenges that we face on this path, right? Acknowledging those distractions, those temptations, and the inner struggles that can arise.
But he also offers us hope, reminding us that Allah is always there for us, guiding us, supporting us, and showering us with his mercy.
Before we move on to some more specific examples from his sermons, I'm curious, is there anything else that stood out to you about his overall message in these initial sermons?
Well, what I find remarkable is how he seamlessly weaves together the inner and outer dimensions of faith. He doesn't just focus on spiritual practices in isolation, but he shows how they should inform our actions, our relationships, and even our approach to worldly matters, like earning a living.
It's like he's providing a roadmap
Yeah.
for integrating spirituality into every aspect of our lives.
Exactly. And he does so with a profound understanding of human nature, acknowledging our weaknesses and our struggles while also inspiring us to strive for excellence.
I think that's one of the reasons why his work continues to resonate with people even centuries later.
Absolutely. His teachings offer this timeless wisdom, guidance that is as relevant today as it was in his time, reminding us of the essential truths that lie at the heart of a life devoted to Allah.
Well, let's continue exploring those truths as we delve deeper into Pearls of the Heart in our next segment.
I'm really eager to unpack some of those specific examples and practical advice he offers on navigating those complexities of life and deepening our connection with the divine. Welcome back to the Echoes of Ihsan podcast. We're going to continue our exploration of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani's Pearls of the Heart.
Last time we touched upon his advice to carefully choose our companions.
Right.
A thought that really resonated with me.
Yeah, it is a crucial point, isn't it? The company we keep really shapes our perspectives,
Right.
influences our actions, and ultimately impacts our spiritual journees.
He doesn't just warn against those negative influences, though. He really beautifully articulates the benefits of seeking out the company of the righteous.
He does. He describes them as these beacons of light, guiding us toward Allah and illuminating our path.
He even says that simply being in their presence can purify our hearts.
Yes.
Like a gentle breeze kind of cleansing a dusty room.
It's a beautiful image, and he encourages us to actively seek their guidance,
Right.
to sit at their feet and absorb their wisdom.
He advises us to attend their gatherings, even if it means making some sacrifices
Yes.
in our time or comfort.
He likens it to a thirsty traveler finding an oasis in the desert. That's how refreshing and life-giving the company of the righteous can be.
It's a beautiful image, and it makes me think about the importance of seeking knowledge from those who embody what they teach.
Yes, he's very clear on this point. He says true knowledge isn't just information, it's a transformation of the heart.
So it's not enough to just memorize facts or follow rituals blindly, right?
Yeah, precisely. We need to seek knowledge from those who've internalized it, who live by the principles that they preach.
Those whose actions reflect their words, who radiate sincerity and humility.
Absolutely. And he cautions us against blindly following those who might lead us astray, those whose knowledge may be impressive, but whose hearts haven't been purified.
Because such knowledge, he says, can lead to arrogance and self-righteousness rather than genuine spiritual growth.
Right. He emphasizes that we should be discerning in our search for knowledge, always prioritizing the purity of heart and the sincerity of intention over those outward displays of piety.
This brings to mind another point that he makes, the importance of balancing our inner and outer worlds.
It's a recurring theme throughout his sermons, this idea that true faith is not compartmentalized. It permeates every aspect of our being.
He challenges us to ensure that our outward actions reflect our inward state.
Yes.
To strive for a congruence between our beliefs and our behavior.
He reminds us that our intentions matter immensely. Every action, even our words and our silence should be rooted in this sincere desire to please Allah.
He uses the analogy of a tree.
Yes.
To illustrate this
That's
point.
A beautiful analogy.
He says that knowledge without action is like a seed that never sprouts.
And action without sincerity is like a tree that bears no fruit.
Wow. That's a beautiful illustration.
Yeah.
It really underscores the importance of aligning our thoughts, our intentions, and our actions.
He stresses that our knowledge should inspire us to act.
Right.
And our actions should be fueled by this burning desire to draw closer to Allah.
It's a beautiful dance between knowing, being, and doing, a constant striving for alignment and integration.
It is. And he reminds us that this is an ongoing process, a journey of continuous refinement and self-improvement.
Which brings us to one of his most profound teachings, the concept of spiritual poverty.
Yes. He describes it as a state of complete reliance on Allah, a recognition that we possess nothing of our own and that everything we have is a gift from him.
It's a humbling realization that can be quite challenging.
It is.
In a world that often values self-sufficiency and material wealth.
He emphasizes that true wealth lies not in what we accumulate, but in our relationship with Allah.
So it's about recognizing our utter dependence on him, surrendering our ego and finding contentment in his provision.
He encourages us to detach ourselves from worldly attachments, from the relentless pursuit of possessions and status and recognition.
He sees that detachment as a key to unlocking true contentment and inner peace. A freedom from the anxieties and desires that weigh down the heart.
And he offers practical advice on cultivating this state of spiritual poverty. He encourages us to be mindful of our consumption, to avoid extravagance and excess.
He reminds us that the things of this world are fleeting.
Yes.
And that our true treasure lies in the hereafter.
He also stresses the importance of generosity, of sharing our wealth with those in need.
Not out of a sense of obligation, but out of a heartfelt desire to please Allah and alleviate the suffering of others.
He reminds us that true generosity isn't measured by the amount we give,
right,
but by the sincerity of our intention.
This reminds me of his advice on dealing with the allure of this world, a world that can easily distract us from our ultimate purpose.
He describes this world as a temporary marketplace,
Right.
a place of fleeting pleasures and distractions.
He warns us against becoming too attached to its glitter and glamour, reminding us that our true home lies in the hereafter.
He uses this powerful metaphor of a vast sea,
Okay.
cautioning that those who become too consumed by worldly desires
Right.
risk drowning in them.
He paints a very vivid picture
He does.
of someone being swept away by the currents of greed, ambition,
Yes.
and the pursuit of fleeting pleasures.
He reminds us that only through Allah's grace and mercy can we navigate the treacherous waters of this world and reach the shores of salvation.
It's a sobering reminder of the importance of keeping our priorities in check and focusing on what truly matters.
And it underscores that need for constant vigilance,
Oh, yeah.
for reminding ourselves of our ultimate goal and seeking Allah's help in staying on the straight path.
Now this brings us to another crucial aspect of his teachings. The importance of patience.
Yeah.
In navigating those challenges and trials of life.
He sees patience as a cornerstone of faith, a quality that distinguishes those who truly trust in Allah's plan.
He reminds us that Allah tests those he loves, and that our patience in the face of adversity is a testament to our belief in his wisdom and mercy.
He encourages us to view difficulties as opportunities for growth, as tests that refine our character and draw us closer to Allah.
He reminds us that with every hardship comes ease, and that Allah never burdens a soul beyond what it can bear.
And he also emphasizes the importance of seeking Allah's help in times of difficulty.
Right.
Of turning to him in prayer and supplication, pouring out our hearts and seeking his guidance and support.
He reminds us that Allah is closer to us than our own jugular vein.
Yes.
And that he hears every whisper of our hearts.
And he encourages us to be patient in our supplications, to trust that Allah's timing is perfect.
Yeah.
And that he will respond in the way that is most beneficial for us.
It's remarkable how he connects this idea of patience to the concept of true servitude to Allah.
He emphasizes that true servitude is about surrendering our will completely to his will, accepting his decree with contentment,
right,
and striving to live in accordance with his commandments.
He describes it as a state of complete submission and surrender.
Yes.
A recognition that we are utterly dependent on Allah, and that our ultimate purpose is to serve him.
He encourages us to cultivate a sense of gratitude for all that Allah has bestowed upon us, recognizing that every breath we take, every blessing we enjoy is a gift from him.
He reminds us that true freedom lies not in asserting our own will, but in aligning our will with his will.
And he encourages us to embrace the beauty and simplicity of living in accordance with his guidance, recognizing that his path is the path to true happiness and fulfillment.
Now that this brings to mind another crucial aspect of his teachings, the importance of sincerity in all that we do.
He repeatedly stresses that our intentions matter.
Right.
More than our outward actions, that every deed, every word, even our silence should be rooted in a sincere desire to please Allah.
He warns against hypocrisy and ostentation, against performing acts of worship simply to impress others or gain recognition.
He reminds us that Allah sees the secrets of our hearts.
Right.
And that he rewards us based on the purity of our intentions.
He encourages us to cultivate a state of inner awareness, to constantly check our motives and ensure that our actions are aligned with our love for Allah.
And he emphasizes that sincerity is not something we achieve overnight, but it's a quality that we must cultivate through constant effort, self-reflection, and a commitment to purifying our hearts.
As we delve deeper into Pearls of the Heart, I'm struck by how Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani doesn't shy away from addressing the darker aspects of human nature.
He doesn't, he speaks candidly about our capacity for selfishness, for greed, for envy, and anger, acknowledging these as inherent struggles that we all face.
But he doesn't leave us there.
Okay.
Right. He offers us guidance on how to how to overcome these negative tendencies, on how to purify our hearts and cultivate those qualities that bring us closer to Allah.
He reminds us that we're not alone in this struggle, that the prophets and saints before us also faced, trials and temptations, and that through their perseverance and reliance on Allah, they achieved spiritual excellence.
He encourages us to emulate their example, to seek Allah's help in overcoming our weaknesses, and to never lose hope in His mercy and forgiveness.
And he reminds us that the path to Allah is a journey of constant purification, a process of shedding those egoistic desires and aligning themselves with His will.
He encourages us to be patient in this process, to celebrate our small victories, and to never give up on our pursuit of spiritual excellence.
Absolutely. This brings to mind his emphasis on the importance of self-knowledge, of understanding our strengths and weaknesses, and of working on those areas where we need to grow.
He says, if someone truly knows himself, he truly knows his Lord.
It's a profound statement that really highlights that interconnectedness of self-awareness and spiritual realization.
He encourages us to engage in introspection, to reflect on our thoughts, our actions, and our motivations, and to be honest with ourselves about our areas of strength and weakness.
He sees the self-examination as a crucial step in the process of spiritual purification.
Right.
As it allows us to identify those aspects of our being that need to be refined, and those qualities that need to be cultivated.
He also encourages us to seek feedback from those we trust.
Yes.
Those who can offer us, honest and constructive criticism, helping us to see ourselves more clearly and identify areas where we need to grow.
He reminds us that true friends are those who want the best for us.
Right.
Even if it means challenging us and holding us accountable.
Now this leads to another key point that he makes: the importance of controlling our tongues.
Yes.
Of speaking with kindness and avoiding harmful speech.
He warns us against the dangers of backbiting, of gossiping, and spreading rumors, emphasizing that these actions can cause immense harm.
Right.
And damage our own hearts.
He reminds us that our words have the power to build others up.
Yes.
Or tear them down, to spread love and kindness, or sow discord and hatred.
He encourages us to speak with good intention, to choose our words carefully, and to use our voices to uplift and inspire others.
He also emphasizes the importance of listening attentively, of truly hearing what others have to say, and responding with empathy and understanding.
He reminds us that communication is a two-way street, and that genuine connection requires both speaking and listening, with an open heart and a sincere desire to understand.
It's fascinating how he connects this idea of controlling our speech to the broader concept of embodying the spirit of Islam in our daily lives.
He reminds us that Islam is not just a set of rituals and beliefs. It's a way of life, a code of conduct that encompasses every aspect of our being.
He encourages us to strive to live by its principles in all that we do, to treat others with kindness and justice, to be honest and trustworthy in our dealings, and to contribute to the well-being of our communities.
He sees this embodiment of Islamic values as a key to achieving true spiritual fulfillment, a way of aligning our lives with Allah's will and finding peace and contentment in his service.
Now this leads to another crucial point that he makes: the importance of choosing our companions wisely.
Yes, he stresses that need to surround ourselves with people who uplift us, who inspire us to draw closer to Allah, and who support us on our spiritual journey.
He warns against the dangers of befriending those who might lead us astray, those whose negative influence could pull us away from the path of righteousness.
He reminds us that our companions have a profound impact on our thoughts and our actions, and ultimately our spiritual state.
He encourages us to seek out the company of the righteous, those who embody the qualities that we aspire to cultivate within ourselves.
He likens good companionship to fertile ground, nurturing our growth and helping us to blossom into the best versions of ourselves.
And he reminds us that we ourselves can be sources of positive influence for others, inspiring them through our words and our actions.
Absolutely.
And our commitment to living a life pleasing to Allah.
He encourages us to be beacons of light for those around us, to spread kindness and compassion, and to strive to create a more just and harmonious world.
Now, this brings to mind another important aspect of his teachings, the importance of recognizing our limitations.
Yes.
And seeking Allah's help in overcoming them.
He reminds us that we're all human, prone to mistakes and weaknesses.
He encourages us to be humble and acknowledge our shortcomings, recognizing that our strength lies not in denying our limitations, but in seeking Allah's help in overcoming them.
He emphasizes the importance of turning to Allah in prayer and supplication, pouring out our hearts and seeking his guidance and support.
He reminds us that Allah is closer to us than our own jugular vein.
Yes.
And that he hears every whisper of our hearts.
And he encourages us to never lose hope in his mercy and forgiveness.
Right.
To constantly seek his refuge and to rely on his strength to guide us through life's challenges.
It's remarkable how Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani weaves together the practical and the spiritual, offering guidance that addresses both the inner workings of our hearts and the outward manifestations of our faith.
He reminds us that true spirituality is not about escaping the world, but about transforming it, about bringing the light of faith into every aspect of our lives.
He encourages us to be active participants in our communities, to contribute to the well-being of others, and to strive to make a positive impact on the world around us.
He sees this as an integral part of living a life pleasing to Allah, of embodying the values of Islam, and of fulfilling our purpose as his servants.
As we delve deeper into Pearls of the Heart, it becomes increasingly clear that Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani's teachings aren't just abstract concepts, but practical guidelines for living a life of meaning, of purpose, and connection with the divine.
He offers us a roadmap for navigating those complexities of life, for dealing with our internal struggles, for interacting with others, and for ultimately drawing closer to Allah.
His words are timeless and resonate just as powerfully today as they did centuries ago.
They offer a source of guidance and inspiration and hope for all who seek to live a life of true faith and devotion to Allah.
Well, in the next part, we'll continue our exploration of Pearls of the Heart, delving into specific examples of his teachings.
Yes.
And examining how his wisdom can guide us in navigating the challenges and opportunities of the modern world.
Well, we'll see how his insights can help us to stay true to the essence of Islam in our daily lives, and to find meaning and purpose in a world that often feels chaotic and disconnected from the divine.
Welcome back to the Echoes of Ihsan podcast. We're nearing the end of our deep dive into Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani's Pearls of the Heart, and I'm feeling a sense of gratitude for the wisdom we've uncovered.
It's truly been a journey of rediscovering those timeless truths, hasn't it? His teachings resonate so deeply because they speak to the very, very essence of what it means to live a fulfilling life, a life aligned with the divine.
Throughout Pearls of the Heart, Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani paints such a vivid picture of the spiritual journey. He doesn't just talk about abstract concepts. He uses powerful imagery,
right,
and relatable examples to bring his teachings to life.
His words are like those intricate tapestries that we were discussing earlier, rich with detail, woven with threads of wisdom, and imbued with these vibrant colors that illuminate the path.
And one of the most captivating threads for me is his exploration of what makes a true saint.
He describes saints as individuals who are so deeply immersed in their connection with Allah that they become deaf and blind to the distractions of this world.
Their hearts are so firmly fixed
Hmm?
on the divine that worldly concerns they just fade into insignificance.
He compares them to these radiant lamps,
Right.
illuminating the darkness, guiding others towards the light of Allah's presence.
He emphasizes their role as inheritors of the prophetic legacy, carrying the torch of spiritual knowledge and guiding humanity towards truth and righteousness.
It's a remarkable concept, isn't it? Recognizing that sainthood isn't just about personal piety, but about this profound responsibility
Right.
to guide and illuminate others.
And it makes me think about our own roles in this tapestry of life.
Mhm.
How can we, even in our imperfections, contribute to the greater good?
Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani offers a beautiful answer to that. He reminds us that every act of kindness, every word of truth, every effort to uplift others, no matter how small it may seem, contributes to the fabric of goodness in this world.
It's a powerful reminder that we all have the potential to be beacons of light, to inspire and guide those around us, even in our everyday lives.
He also emphasizes the importance of seeking knowledge from those who've traversed this path before us, who've attained a deeper understanding of those spiritual realities.
He reminds us to approach such individuals with humility and respect, to be eager to learn and to listen attentively to their guidance.
He warns against arrogance and self-righteousness, emphasizing that true knowledge should soften our hearts and make us more compassionate, not inflate our egos.
This brings to mind his advice on how to navigate those inevitable challenges that we encounter on this journey.
Yeah.
Especially those moments when we've been wronged or hurt by others.
He urges us to respond with patience and forgiveness, reminding us that vengeance belongs to Allah alone.
He encourages us to rise above that urge to retaliate, to let go of anger and resentment, and to seek reconciliation whenever possible.
He reminds us that forgiveness doesn't condone the wrongdoing, but rather it liberates us from the burden of carrying bitterness and pain.
It's a powerful act of liberation, both for ourselves and for the person who has wronged us.
And he also encourages us to pray for those who have hurt us, to ask Allah to guide them and to soften their hearts.
It's a profound act of compassion, recognizing that even those who inflict pain are still in need of Allah's mercy and guidance.
It reflects this deep understanding of the interconnectedness of humanity, this recognition that our well-being is intertwined, and that by seeking the best for others, we ultimately benefit ourselves.
I think one of the most striking aspects of Sheikh Abdul Gilani's teachings is his unwavering emphasis on the importance of sincerity in all that we do.
He repeatedly stresses that our intentions are paramount, that every action, every word, even our silence should be rooted in a sincere desire to please Allah.
He warns against hypocrisy, against performing acts of worship merely for show or to gain recognition from others.
He reminds us that Allah sees those secrets of our hearts, and that He rewards us based on the purity of our intentions.
He encourages us to cultivate a state of constant self-awareness,
Yes.
to check our motives and to ensure that our actions are aligned with our love for Allah.
And he emphasizes that sincerity is not a destination,
Right.
but a journey, a continuous process of refining our hearts and purifying our intentions.
This brings to mind his beautiful analogy of knowledge, action, and sincerity. Right. He says that knowledge without action is like a seed that never sprouts, while action without sincerity is like a tree that bears no fruit.
It's such a vivid image that underscores the importance of integrating these three elements into our lives.
We need to seek knowledge that illuminates our hearts. Act upon that knowledge with a sincere intention to please Allah and strive for a consistency between
Yes.
our inward state and our outward behavior.
It's a beautiful dance of knowing, being, and doing
Yeah.
a continuous striving for alignment and integration.
You know, as we near the end of our exploration of Pearls of the Heart,
Yeah.
I'm struck by the timelessness of Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al Jilani's teachings.
His words resonate. They resonate across centuries, offering guidance and inspiration that transcends those cultural boundaries and speaks to the deepest longings of the human heart.
He reminds us of the essential truths that underpin a fulfilling life. The importance of self-awareness, the power of patience and gratitude, the beauty of sincerity, and the transformative potential of aligning our lives with the divine.
He guides us toward this deeper understanding of our relationship with Allah, encouraging us to cultivate that state of constant remembrance and to seek His presence in every moment.
He challenges us to refine our character, to overcome our negative tendencies,
Yeah.
and to strive for excellence in all that we do.
And he reminds us that the journey of spiritual growth is a lifelong endeavor, a path that requires continuous effort, self-reflection, and reliance on Allah's grace and guidance.
As we close this deep dive into Pearls of the Heart, I'm left with this sense of awe and inspiration.
Sheikh Abdul Qadir Al-Jilani's words have illuminated our path, offering us this glimpse of the profound beauty and the transformative power of Islamic spirituality.
His teachings remind us that the journey toward Allah is a journey towards our own true selves, a journey of uncovering the hidden treasures within our hearts and aligning our lives with the divine.
May his words continue to guide us and inspire us and nourish our souls as we strive to live lives of meaning, of purpose, and connection with the one who loves us most.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
May peace and blessings be upon you.